Hi, this is Mike Torsha, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest today, Chef Danielle Christy. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
You're welcome. So I was really impressed. I was watching your postings on Instagram. You're very methodical and you go into detail and you simply walk people through how to prepare certain meals or certain dishes or desserts and so on. And I loved your array of choices of food because I'm very health conscious, as you can tell,
Yes.
So I was enjoying watch the different process that you go through, and you made it very enjoyable to watch.
Thank
And your
you.
voice is so soothing, but your whole attitude about quality of food, quality of the preparation, because I feel that I only want to put in my body whatever adds value. I'm not going to do something that is carcinogenic or any kind of toxic side effect. So when I was watching what you're doing, because I've seen other chefs,
Mhm.
especially on YouTube, oof, but you're very meticulous, the type of ingredients that you use. And I love that. So share with me your background, how you got into it. Were you taught by your mother, your grandmother, or you just self-taught? How did it begin?
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's important to me that we get the most nutrients that we can throughout our day when we eat, and eating in color and in season is kind of my favorite. But it all started when I was little, with my grandma, actually. I loved cooking. I can remember, I think the first time I mashed potatoes with her. I grew up in an Irish family, so potatoes were the meat and potatoes, no pun intended, of the diet. But we also, growing up, my grandma and grandpa had a garden in the backyard. So I loved kind of going out there and picking the vegetables and bringing them in. Um, and yeah, my relationship with food has definitely evolved over the years as well. I struggled a lot when I was young. Well, I'd say probably about a little over 20 years with an eating disorder. So that was a unique take on my relationship with food as well. And that has gotten so healthy and so great now. And I'm so proud of that. And actually, cooking in the kitchen has made me healthier and better at cooking, if that makes sense.
So it's so therapeutic, so it helps you
Yes.
heal
Yes.
and grow.
Yes. And
Uh,
I know what it's like to be underfueled. And now I know at this in my life what it's like to be properly fueled and how important that is, and how important the quality of what you eat is as well, to just thrive and be kind of the best version of yourself.
Now I can relate to you because my grandmother was the one that taught me how to cook,
Mm.
my Sicilian grandmother, and I was 8 years old, and I remember it was one Sunday, she was making her gravy, as we
Mhm.
say in Italian, that's the slang we use, and, she said, "Miguel, come over here." And so she got me a little stool because I was very short, and she said, "I want you to cut the basil." I won't well, tear the
Yeah,
basil.
yep.
Tear the basil, I gotta correct that because did it when she walked away. I went and got a knife and I was cutting, and she goes, "No, no, 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 no. You all the juice leaves the basil when you cut it. Gently tear it." And then she wanted me to put it into the sauce.
Mhm.
And she showed me that this is how you gently tear it, and don't squeeze hard because all the juice from the leaf leaves. So everything was meticulous the way I had to do it. Because she said, if you want to eat, because I used to go over there when the sauce was cooking and take the Italian bread. And
Yeah, dip it
because
in.
you're going to eat, you're going to help me make the food. And then she said to me, some day you're going to meet a nice woman and get her married, and maybe she don't know how to cook. So this way, you teach her how to cook if she doesn't know. And I looked at my grandma. I said, "Grandma, I'm 8 years old." She goes, "Don't worry. Some day you'll see that the girls are going to get in your head, and you're going to meet a woman, and she'll appreciate a man that could cook for them."
Yeah.
Which is true. I meet a lot of women, and they're shocked that I can cook, but cook so well, and I'm very meticulous. So your story with the grandmother, I could relate because she's the one that showed me when we'd go to get a cantaloupe and press at the end, and
Yeah, and smell it.
and all those things. I think that people wish they knew to do that because I see people at Whole Foods and Bristol Farms that just grab some, put it in a bag. No, wait a minute. Feel it, touch it, smell it. Make sure it's ripe.
Mhm.
And then I want to ask your opinion. I tell people that it's a waste of time to get those sprays that you spray to clean the vegetables and the fruit, because if it has pesticides and herbicides, it's already grown into the skin. You're not going to rinse it off because it's already been grown in the fields with the chemicals. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I personally don't like to add anything extra to what is already there, if you know
Right.
what I mean. I'm kind of old school. I'll do a little vinegar and baking soda and like some water and rinse off the vegetables and let them dry. But yeah, and I also I'm not quite sure what's exactly in those either. So
Yeah, true.
they
Yeah.
say they're safe,
Putting more
but
chemicals.
yeah, so I'm not exactly 100% sure what is on those or in those. So I like to just stick with basics.
Well, because I've done a lot of research. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, like you get the vegetable sprays,
Hmm.
and it has all those ingredients that's coming out of the can, but also the propellant is toxic. So what I do is I take olive oil, I put it in a spray bottle,
Hmm.
and I spray it. So if I'm cooking eggs, it's just a nice, beautiful, thick, I like it thick,
Yeah.
olive oil with that beautiful flavor, the raw smell.
Nothing better.
Right?
Yeah.
So because I see the can, to me, what's pushing it out of the can? What is that propellant? Now it's on the food, correct? And then we put it in our body,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, wow. So I love the fact that you're very selective, and I like the fact you said colors, because it was so funny. We had a garden too.
Yeah.
Italians, we all have gardens.
Yes. Yeah. I
right?
love the Italian
So my father
culture.
get out there, get the lettuce, the basil, tomato, everything. So I remember one night I made a salad. He goes, "Hey, it's no happy salad." I go, "What do you mean happy? Where's the color? Where's the red peppers, the green peppers, the yellow peppers? Put some more tomatoes. Put some more cucumber. It's not a happy salad." So my father, when we go out to eat, he tell the waitress, "I want a happy salad. Mix it up. Put a lot of vegetables in it. I don't want just the lettuce and the tomato. Put some this and that." And it's so true. So when you brought up the color, it put a smile on my face, because my father always felt that all the colors was a happy salad.
Yeah.
But then you get all the other nutrients, right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And for me, it's like, as much as like cliche a little bit, like eat the rainbow, but we kind of eat with our eyes first. So if we see something that looks like delicious and delectable with all the colors, then we'll enjoy it that much more. And I also think that when you do eat the rainbow or have a such diverse diet, the healthier that you are.
No, that's fantastic. And now, as far as cooking oils,
Mhm.
what oils do you prefer and why?
I prefer to cook with olive oil. That's kind of my staple. I do enjoy avocado oil as well at times, and then coconut oil for baking for certain things. But I like a good quality olive oil.
Do you stay away from sesame oil?
I use sesame oil only in Asian
Mhm.
dishes. I do enjoy sesame oil, but I do just the toasted sesame oil, so it's not one you need to heat and cook in. It's more of like a finishing oil. And then as far as like the canolas and vegetable oils and all those kinds of things, I don't personally cook with them. I know there's a bunch of noise about them. I just personally, I love to also use like ghee or tallow or anything like that as well if I'm cooking meats and proteins.
I just tried a ghee butter.
Hmm.
Wow,
It's great, huh?
fantastic.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
So you're having this beautiful flavor,
Hmm.
and you're not putting all that crap in your body, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm just amazing. I mean, all these like vegetarian, vegan dishes now. Remember years ago when they first started, it was like, yuck.
Yeah.
I go to Craig's, every week, and I got to tell you something. He's got all these vegan dishes. He's got this vegan ice cream. It really tastes like ice cream, like that's got whole milk in it
Yeah.
and cream. It's so crazy how they've perfected it over the years.
Yes.
I am not crazy about Impossible Burger and all that other crap.
That stuff makes me nervous.
It does.
I don't know what's in it.
Well, here's the
and
thing.
to me, it's not food.
Well, it's created in a lab.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, it's processed,
Yeah.
We're putting it in our body.
Yeah.
But I really love the fact that you like making sure people have a variety of foods and all type of foods because we need it to growth, hair, skin, nails, bone,
Yeah.
right?
And for me, it's food first and then supplements. I know a lot of people rely on supplements a lot, but for me, I try to encourage people to get your food first. There's so many different herbs and spices and different types of proteins and all those types of nuts and seeds and all those things you can get the diversity from. And if you're constantly diversifying your diet, but also it's not bad to kind of eat simple and eat the same things too. Kind of find whatever works for your lifestyle. But I do find that a lot of people rely a little too heavily on supplements, whereas we could go to food first instead.
Well, I mean, I remember Jack LaLanne was my mentor,
Mhm.
and he said, food is my medicine.
Yeah.
And if you eat enough varieties of foods, you don't need vitamins, which was so true. And I wish poor people would think that way.
Yeah.
They'd start making more choices to add in more, especially green vegetables. I found a lot of times people really don't eat much green vegetables.
No, and I find it so interesting too because they're some of my favorites, to be honest with you, but they're so simple to prepare. Whether you're even just like romaine and toss it with your happy, make your happy salad, or if you're
Right.
gonna like saute a little garlic and some olive oil with maybe some anchovy, and then saute your greens with maybe a little like crushed red pepper or something, and just saute it, make it simple, and add like your favorite form of protein on top, and it's kind of makes it easier and very palatable for.
So if you wanted to
diet.
say, whip up a meal, how much time would you need between cutting it up or sauteing and broiling it? Is it 12 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? Are you able to condense it down so someone can have a sensible recipe that could easily make a fun little dinner or lunch meal or breakfast meal within a short period of time?
Absolutely. I think it's very simple to even just do like a sheet pan dinner. Get your favorite vegetables, maybe some potatoes, your favorite form of protein, some spices, toss with a little olive oil, throw it all in there, throw it in the oven for 15, 20 minutes, and then dinner's ready.
Wow.
Yeah, or even just if fish is one of my favorites because it cooks so quickly. So if you're gonna do like a pan-seared salmon, and then you can maybe make like a little like white bean vegetable salad on the side, or even like avocado salsa on top. Just kind of get creative with either what you have in your fridge, and that's another thing I love to do is kind of call it a fridge forage. At the end of the week, I personally like will take everything out, and it's almost like my own version of the TV show Chopped, and try to see if I can create something fun with everything
that
that I
kind of
have
challenge,
left.
right?
Yeah.
Now, also, what do you feel about artificial sweeteners?
So I personally think that artificial sweeteners aren't great for you. Even with the new, like all the ketos and all these like monk fruits and all those kinds of things, I personally, and also with my clients as well, have found they bring so much digestive discomfort. Whereas I love to stick with just like honey, maple syrup, dates, more of the sweeteners that come from nature. Sometimes some allulose, maybe a little stevia, but I definitely try to stick more towards those.
I did notice that when I was baking and I
Mhm.
used a lot of those artificial sweeteners you're talking about, I felt the uncomfortable feeling in my gut.
Mhm.
And that was the one thing that I didn't like is because if I have something that's creating a disruption in my digestive tract, why am I eating it?
Yeah.
So I started realizing that when I do prepare food, if I do get a reaction, I assess the recipe and go, okay, what did I put in there so I can understand it? Because I really want to make, meals that, like I don't have a problem with stevia,
Yeah.
but I find that certain brands of stevia,
Mhm.
because some are so bitter. I did notice, and what's your opinion on this? When I blended stevia with a little xylitol,
Mhm.
it was great. How do you feel about xylitol?
I personally don't use it very often, so I don't have an informed opinion.
Uh-huh.
But I just love to tell people just if it's working for you, that's amazing. But like I love how you were intuitive and realized that something whatever you had eaten at that time made you not feel good, and then you went and tried to assess what kind of was causing it. Because that's I think another thing a lot of us I'm personally working on myself is just being more mindful eating instead of just like just wolfing it down and just like being more conscious and present, which I think would be so beneficial for so many people because your digestion's better. You're more in a parasympathetic state and you're actually like your body will absorb your nutrients even more. But just keying in and tuning into what your body is actually feeling, I think is super, super important.
Yeah, because I was going to this local frozen yogurt place.
Mm-hmm.
Got to tell you something. I started noticing that kind of uncomfortable, gassy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And they had maltol. They had all kinds of other stuff in it. I said, I can't put this crap in my body. Even though it tastes real sweet going down. I suffered for hours later on that night. And I just said to myself, I really got to make sure. And that's when I started saying, hey, enough. I am only putting foods in my body that add value.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm Italian, so a glass of wine, my father used to say it's enzymes. I think of the grape, it came from the vines, it's from nature, you know.
Absolutely.
And so I'll have a half a glass with a meal.
Mm-hmm.
I never drink it on an empty stomach because I don't want to have that rush of the sugar or alcohol. But I do everything in moderation. And when I want to enjoy myself, I do. But I've really stayed away from anything that would be considered like fast food.
Yeah.
Poor quality.
Mm-hmm.
Anything processed, I stay away. And I really don't do juicing because I've been preaching this for the past 25 years, is that there's nothing better than eating a raw piece of fruit. You have this wonderful fiber, a crispy apple or a pear or grape or strawberries, beautiful, but you have all the fiber that helps move everything through. Once you put the fruit or the vegetables into a blender, you purify, you liquefy it into sugar water. Now it's just like drinking soda. It's now glycemic levels through the roof. You create an insulin spike, you go to fat storage, all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
When you eat a piece of fruit, you don't have that effect. It doesn't spike your insulin level.
No.
So I tell people, you may look great, you might want to get that green drink, whatever, but it's just sugar water. And you took away the most important part of that.
Is the fiber.
Is the fiber.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. And I see them online at all these juice places and they're doing their juice and whatever. I go, why don't you just have that apple? Why don't you have those blueberries? Enjoy it. Put it on your oatmeal, but eat it like raw. And if you like vegetables, of course, you can steam or not boil. I always say lightly steam it or grill it.
Yeah.
So you're not losing all that beautiful ingredients and minerals and vitamins that are in the food. But I just think that a lot of times people don't understand, wow, even though I have all these great fruits and vegetables in this drink, it's just nothing but a glass of sugar water.
And also, it was super important to use our mouth to chew.
Right?
Like
You're burning calories.
Yeah, like our mouth and our teeth have their kind of own microbiome as well. And it's super important to activate all those glands in our teeth. So then that activates our brain and then our digestive system as well. And so, yeah, I honestly, personally, like, the juicing's expensive.
Oh.
It's very
really
expensive
is.
And there's a lot of waste in it too. So I personally would just rather eat it because it tastes so much better when you can like add herbs and spices and like make your own mix of things with it.
No, for sure. I mean, I remember a friend of mine went to Erewhon and he asked for all these things and I go, $16 for that? I mean, Erewhon is very expensive anyway, no matter what you get. But I was just like, wow, man, why don't you just go over there and get some fruit?
That could be 3 days worth of meals for the 16, kidding, but not.
I mean, wow. Talking about trying to be affordable and eat healthy. Yeah. But I just think either way, people should think, and like you're saying, just about chewing. Here's the other thing. Many years ago, there was a cabbage diet. And the reason the cabbage diet was very popular because it fills you up fast, but also it took calories to digest it, right? So think about it. So now if you ate those fruit, you actually would burn up some calories just with the roughage and pushing everything out. So you're taking away ability to burn more fat, right? So I just would talk to people about it, and I got to tell you something. I got a lot of people off juicing. They've told me, I actually can see my abs now.
Yeah.
I actually had this cloudiness over my stomach muscles. And as soon as I stopped doing the juices and I just ate whole fruits,
Hmm.
I lost the weight, that extra weight, because it was holding water on them. Because every gram of sugar, you hold a gram of water.
Yeah.
So when you lower that count and now you're having all that fiber, it was like a formula to like, hey, how do I take my body to the next level? That's why I thought it was important for someone like you to come on to talk about food preparation and color and happiness to the salad
Yeah.
and whatever, and your thoughts about artificial ingredients and how simple you can make a meal within minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and you make it so simple. They can go to your Instagram page.
Yeah,
And
I'm sharing recipes, and I try to do as many videos as I can.
I can't believe how many videos you have. My God. I mean, are you doing a book?
No, not at
Wow.
this moment. I would love to one day.
I was really impressed.
Thank you.
Your presentation was fantastic.
Thank you.
And just the way you described it and the finished product was like if you were on a cooking show.
Thank
Because
you.
that presentation, you know how important it is when they score it, you know? Because I love watching all the competition
so
cooking
fun.
shows. They're fun,
Absolutely.
you know? And I would see how the judges, after a while, I'd understand, you know, it tastes great, but it didn't look too pretty on the dish.
Mhm.
But I noticed yours was beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, what is your thoughts about vegan, vegetarian, and keto and all that? Do you have a lot of clients that ask for different crazy diets?
Yeah, I've had a few families where literally every family member is on a different diet. So I've cooked it all. I personally think it's just important that you find what works for you. I know it's so easy to get kind of caught up in the diets and things like that, but I love to go if people are willing based on blood work and really just kind of get down to the nitty gritty and what makes them feel good.
That's
'Cause
fantastic. So if someone shows you the blood work, you'll understand exactly. Great.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the inflammatory food test, blood test to look for things? Is that something you suggest sometimes to your
Yes, but I think the first thing that you would want to do is like make sure you're eating a whole foods diet first
Mhm.
before you kind of spend all your money on all the testing and everything, and then see how you feel on that. And kind of testing out like when you eat certain foods, like kind of like you did with the sugar, like, oh, I didn't feel so great after I ate this. What was something that was possibly in this that I don't normally eat all the time? And kind of trying to, it's a little bit of work on the front end, but to make you feel your best, I really think it's super important to not take all your foods out. And if you do an elimination diet, slowly add those things back in, because the purpose of the elimination diet is not to eliminate it forever.
Right. Identify.
Yes, identify and then go. But yeah, if you prefer to eat plant-based and no meat products or animal products, that's great. Just make sure it's making you feel your best.
That's fantastic. So now, do you do in-home cooking, or
I do.
do you also prepare meals and then drop it off cooked and they get just heated up?
All of the above.
That's
all of the
fantastic.
above,
And
all of the
now, what's
above.
your website?
Savorthekitchen.com.
Oh, cool name.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for today.
Thank you.
This was really fun and informative, and appreciate taking the time out. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
You're welcome. This is Mike Torsia signing off. Thank you for watching Live Well and Thrive, and please subscribe. We need your support. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. Got great news. The merch is ready. You're going to see an array of all kinds of great products. Go to operationfitness.com. If you want to order anything, click on my store. Thanks for your support.